Good morning and welcome. So I'm just jumping on the Facebook page because I know people will probably be heading there as well. So if you can just bear with me a few moments, but thank you for finding me on here. It's much appreciated. How are you all? So today is a stillness practice, really, and I actually wanted to sort of sit down and do it with you. And I guess if you're going to take the time out of your lives to come and sit and practice with me, then I wanted you to more than everything feel what this practice is all about. And I guess sitting in the chair for me didn't feel as right, so I thought I'd bring everything onto the floor. And this particular practice that we're going to be doing is sort of like, I'm doing this 30 days of stillness, 30 days, 30 minutes. And I really wanted to just give you an example of what or how my practice evolves or what I'm doing over the 30 minutes. So what we're going to be doing today is really just sort of, I guess, what I do during a 30 minute practice in silence. And it doesn't mean that we're going to be silent for 30 minutes. I'm going to be guiding you through it. I just wanted to give it an extra couple of moments just to see if anyone else is going to be jumping on board. Can you hear me okay? I suppose that's a pretty important thing. Hi, Dinesh. How are you? Welcome. Okay, cool. Thank you. Rightio. So we're just going to jump on anyway and get started and see how we go. So wherever you are, just taking a few moments and getting yourself comfortable and allowing your eyes to close. And remembering with stillness that it's not some sort of destination that we're going to try and get to in the 30 minutes. You know, we're not trying to remove a part of us. We're not trying to sort of get rid of something. You know, stillness is inherent in every single moment. It is a part of us as much as every other movement, emotion, disruption, both positive and negative. It's all there with us. And we're not trying to get anything out of the way. It's almost like we're just trying to get to nowhere. And in that sort of effortlessness, stillness rises. Now, it's not like some sort of action. We're not trying to be still. What I like to do, I like to take almost like a real interest in just seeing or watching the movement. And by movement, I mean sort of the breath and the sounds, the thoughts. And just being interested in how many or how long I can sort of sit there without trying to do anything. But right now, all we're going to do is just begin to take a few moments for ourselves. So just resting. And in that resting, just bringing a gentle attention onto your breath. Okay, so it's just beginning to watch the movement of our breath. Not trying to control anything or change anything, just watching how it moves. Watching how it just seems to flow naturally into and out of us, all on its own. And I call this practice the depth of breath. Not because in any way, shape, or form we're trying to go deep in this meditation. If we really have a look at life, life is shallower than a breath. So it's not like we're trying to get any sort of depth into our practice. Remove any expectation that you are going to go deep. I'm not a big fan of that term, although often people use it to sort of describe it because shallow just doesn't feel like the most appropriate term. But how deep is the space between each breath? And we're talking about moments, micro moments, which have no depth whatsoever. And as you just begin to guide some of our attention onto this movement, this rising and falling of breath, maybe it's the first time today you've just brought some attention onto the breath. Maybe it's the first time you've dedicated some time just to allow everything to be. And so you've got to expect, just like if it's a busy day and you miss, well, a lot of the buses are running late, there's going to be a big lineup of stuff trying to get processed and get onto that bus. And so in bringing attention to our breath, just allowing those thoughts to just process quite naturally, but without the focus, without the requirement, without something to drag us away into one of the more particular thoughts, one of the more particular disruptive thoughts. We can just gently guide our attention back to our breath and rest and watch the movement as the next thought rises and the next thought. If you can just almost see them, almost like, I like to think of it almost like a bubble that rises, but almost like people trying to get on the bus. And maybe you can let them on the bus, but that's it. You're the one continually driving it. And anytime we find ourselves in conversation with these thoughts, there's no real action taken. We just notice that. Sometimes even just the noticing that we're thinking allows the thought just to disappear. But sometimes it's the guiding our awareness onto the movement of our breath that also just helps us in refocusing our attention. And that's what we're doing right now, just watching the movement. And as I'm doing this, I like to sort of imagine almost like I'm a stone that's been cast into an incredibly deep lake. Now, for this practice, it's also important to realize that you aren't underwater. But almost like you could just feather all the way down to the bottom and just rest comfortably on the bottom of this lake. And all around you is just emptiness. And down there's no sound. It's very still and quiet. In the same way, wherever you are, sat, lay down, just opening up that sense of emptiness that's all around you. It gives everything form. And just like being sat at the bottom of a lake, it doesn't matter how hard the wind blows on top of the lake, how much noise there is. You can rest in that spaciousness, openness, and dedicate your practice to watching this movement of thoughts. And recognizing, I guess, the undisturbableness or indisturbableness that is you. And remembering the breath is always there. You get to come back to the breath, come back to the movement of the breath all the time. Anytime you find yourself thinking about a particular thought, particular happening, maybe something that's to happen, just bring our attention back to our breath again. And we watch the movement. And just remembering there's no destination that you're trying to get to. You're not trying to get more still. You don't need to worry about how still you are. This silence, this stillness is inherent in everything. It's an incredibly natural place for you. You don't need to get caught up in comparisons. And every now and again, what I also like to do is just in the same way I've brought a little bit of attention to the movement of my breath. I want to bring some attention to the movement of my mind. So it feels like sometimes I just turn my eyes inwards. And even though I'm sat rested at the bottom of this lake, I'm keenly interested in what moves through the mind as well. And so, whilst you can still sort of sit and rest, and you can get a sense that there's still the breath moving, the breath's still flowing, the sounds, you can still hear my voice, the movement of the world that's going on around you as well. As you turn your eyes towards where we think this mind of ours is, sort of feel like we turn it inwards. We get to watch the nature of this movement. And remember, we're not trying to create anything, not bringing any sort of expectations of what is going to happen. Often, sometimes when we turn our attention in this way to the nature of our own minds, we can quite naturally get a sense of stillness, open awareness. Often, sometimes things just don't feel as concrete. As we bring our attention to our minds in this way, we're just letting everything be. Not trying to stop anything. In fact, as we turn our attention in this way, we want everything to be noticed. We want all things to happen naturally. They will anyway. So we let go of the idea of trying to stop doing anything. As we turn our attention this way, our mind should stop thinking. We allow all disruptions just to calm and welcome them. As Rumi would say, welcome them with a smile on your face. And just watch as they come and they go. And bringing our attention away from sort of the focus inwards. Then bringing our attention and focusing outwards. And trying to find that same sort of, it's not just, what we're trying to do is bring this inwards, outwards. Recognizing that same stillness, the same movement, the same everything. It's not just found as we guide our attention inwards. It's also found everything that's around us. Losing the idea of time, losing the idea of space, losing all these concepts, these words that we use to describe something, and just being here. Always remember, we're not trying to produce stillness. Stillness is inherent in everything. We're just almost like we're completely rested. And all this happenings just plays out in front of us. That's what we begin to watch. And whilst we believe that everything is sort of created in this incredible enigma that we call the mind, it is just as apparent in the world that is around us. We're not trying to analyze this state, we're not trying to create or produce a state. We are completely rested. It's not from a place of relaxation either. We're not trying to relax. Relaxation is like a symptom, a byproduct of being still. What we're really trying to do is completely rest, just let everything go. And then now, just for the last couple of minutes, I just want you to bring some of that attention, bring some of that focus onto your breath. And I just want you to watch the movement of the breath again. Except this time, maybe what you'll begin to recognize is you are that still being at the bottom of the lake. It's open, aware, quiet. And the gentle movement of the breath is all that is happening. Everything else is completely still. There's a real depth of breath. Hello, Liam. How are you, mate? All right. So, just wanted to sort of take you through what a normal practice would be for me. I hope you enjoyed it. Now, I'm going to be doing more on YouTube like this. I think sort of sometimes the quality seems to be a little bit better than that on Facebook. Thank you so much for your time. If you want to keep updated with the videos and stuff, just like you like, or follow the Awareful Facebook page, you just add yourself as a subscriber and you'll get a link through to say when the next one will be. But I will be keeping on going with these practices. I'll be here sort of every every Tuesday or Wednesday morning Aussie time, or Tuesday evening GMT. I hope you enjoyed that. If you have any questions or anything like that, I'll stick around for the next 30 seconds. Otherwise, have a wonderful rest of your evening. Thank you.